Hi there! This week I'm going to talk about Rum Pirates by Rio Grande. This isn't...
Hand over the rum!
Who are you all?
We're Pirates of the Rio Grande!
I don't have any rum! I just have this game.
Grab him!
What? Wait! What? Hey!
Take him to the ship!
Hey!
That's not pirate music.
Arr. Welcome to Board Games Without Scott. We've thrown Scott in the hole this week, and I, Captain Morgan, am taking over.
No, you're not, Captain Morgan.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. See?
Well, okay. I'm Donald Dennis, and I'm talking about Rum and Pirates. Rum and Pirates is a light strategy game by Stephen Field for 2 to 5 players, ages 9 and up. It lasts about an hour to an hour and a half. It's available in Germany from Alia and in the US from Rio Grande Games. Now let's take a look in the box. They have an excellent rule book. It has everything that you need to play the game. It's explained well, it's clearly organized, and easy to understand. There's a 9-piece modular board that can be arranged in different ways when you play, so the game's not going to be exactly the same with each play. There are 5 colors of pirates, 15 of each color of pirate, that players may have access to during the course of the game. There's also a flag that each player will keep in front of them so that they will remember who they are. There's also a ship token that you use at the end of the round, and what I think is one of the coolest features of the box components is the counter tray. At the beginning, when you get the game, you have to punch out the counters, but then you can put them into this tray, which keeps them all organized, and even when it's stored in the box is being tossed around, it still keeps them pretty secure. So it keeps the coins that you get with the game and each of the different kinds of counters in order, organized, ready for play. It really cuts down on the setup time once you get them punched. And that's it. Let's look at the flow of play and see how all this comes together into a game. You have the 9-piece modular board, which you assemble before play. Then you draw out 4 map tiles, 4 pub tiles, 2 treasure tiles, and each player in the game gets 2 coins.
Each player gets 10 of their pirates at the beginning of the game, and then they can earn 5 other pirates through clever play.
And then you choose a start player, and you're ready to play.
The goal of the game is to become the most honorable pirate band. Your ship is docked in a village full of piratey treasures, and you follow the captain around collecting maps, pirate stuff, treasures, and having the occasional tumble with the guards. You fight for the best bunk on the ship every night. And as you have these encounters, you collect honor points, which are listed on these chits. You hide them under your pirate flag, and at the end of the game, you reveal all your chits and add them up to see who's the most renowned pirate.
On a player's turn, they move the red corsair to the location they want to encounter. And then they place pirates from their crew behind the red corsair, indicating spaces that they've passed through. They then take the action for that turn. In this case, for this one, they get 1 gold coin, and then decide if they're going to move again. If they move again, they have to pay a gold coin. The guy could pay a gold coin and then move to the next space. Once again, putting a pirate from his mess, from his group, onto the board. And then in this case, for this space that has the pirate on it, he would get to add 1 more guy to his group of pirates so that he would have more resources to expend. There may be times when a pirate is forced to move the red corsair off the board. You can move off the board in one direction, paying the pirate cost, and then on to anywhere else on the overall board. In this case, I'm just using it on this tile, but it could be anywhere on the board, and come on to this location. If there was an option, if he had the ability to go off in another direction, then that would cost 1 gold coin. But if you're forced to do it, if these are placed there, then there is no cost to move down a dark alley into another dark alley. And yes, you do pay in pirate cost, you do have to place a pirate on the half squares, so you can end up paying extra pirates to get from one location to another. This is the pirate supply space. Here's what the back of the tiles look like. Every time you land in one of your movements on a pirate supply space, you get to take one of those tiles. There's parrots, hats, hooks, eye patches, and peg legs. Now, because it's random what you get, you could end up with duplicates of the same kind of thing. However, you only get to count one of each kind of wear. And at the end of the game, the parrot worth 2 honor points is worth less than the one with 5, and the hat worth 2 honor points is worth less than the one worth 3. These would not count towards the final score, so they get tossed. Players ending up at the coin intersection get 1 gold coin. All the coins are worth the same value, so they just take 1 from the tokens. If a player ends his movement at the guard intersection, then he will choose whether he encounters a large group of guards or a small group of guards. The small group of guards have lower numbers, and sometimes they will have gold with them as well. The large group of guards will have larger values. Now, the numbers on there are the honor that each one's worth. And if the player has more pirates left that have not been placed on the board than is on that number, then he gets to take that tile and place it in his honor stack. If player does not have more, has the same number or fewer, then he places that tile back on the bottom of the stack of tiles for that kind of guard. If the tile had a gold coin on it, then they get the coin as well as the honor. So that goes directly into their stash of coins. This is the rendezvous intersection. You draw a rendezvous tile and you keep it secret. And then if you ever end up on a space of what's on the rendezvous tile, you get that many points. For example, if you end up on the guard spot, there you go, those two match, then you would keep this for 4 points. You'd get to play it, flip it over, and say, hey, I got this. And then it would go face up with your other honor points, which are also kept secret underneath your flag. If a player ends his movement on a pirate space, he gets to take 1 pirate from the reserves that are not in play and add it to his collection of pirates. If a player ends his turn on the treasure chest, they get to take the treasure tile for their own, and then the scorpion tile is revealed to the group. One of the people is going to end up with this, which is going to be cost -2 honor points off their final score. And this is determined by the player who ended up there rolls a die, the person to the left rolls a die, and this keeps going on until the value is met or exceeded. Whoever makes the total number rolled, equal or exceed the number on the tile, takes that tile and has to put it in with their honor stack. There are always 4 maps beside the board in the play area ready to be claimed. If a player ends up on a map intersection and there is one of those kinds of maps out, then they get it. In this case, if a player ended at the green intersection, there are no green maps available, so he would come away empty-handed. However, in this case, where there's a yellow map, if a player ended up at the yellow intersection, he would get the option of taking yellow map. The player just takes 1 map at each visit to a map location. At the end of the game, however, you only score if you have 2 halves of a map. So if you had the 5 and the 6 map, this would be worth 11 honor points. If you had the 3 and the 6 map, that would be worth 9 points. And if you only had half of a map, it's not worth anything, and you can't put maps of 2 different colors together. So you couldn't put the pink map and the yellow map together. If a player ends up on the rum barrel intersection, he takes 2 rum barrel counters, places them in his play area so that the other players can see them. Each rum barrel is worth rerolls. Now, when you burn one, you can reroll twice. So if you don't like your first reroll result, you can choose to use another reroll result. However, you have to take the final number you roll. You have to discard the tile even if you only use one of the 2 rerolls that you get from it. If a player ends up on a pub intersection, then they will take all the pub counters for that color. They then announce to the group that they are going to go drinking, and anyone can go with them who wants. If they have to ask in order around the table, starting with the player on their left. If that player chooses to go drinking with them, they have to pay the person whose turn it is a gold coin. Anyone who doesn't pay doesn't have a chance at winning anything at the pub, and simply by paying doesn't actually guarantee that you're going to get anything either. Then, starting with the person whose turn it is, they roll a die. And if that die roll exceeds the number on the pub token, they get it to add to their collection. However, if they roll above a 4, they don't get both the tokens. In this case, they would get just the 4 token. And then it continues around, each person rolling to see if they get to take one of the pub tokens. If so, and there are no tokens left, that round of drinking ends. Anyone who didn't get anything just goes away saying bad words.
Hey, that's my
Then,
line.
of course, you refill the pub tokens beside in the play area as soon as they're gone. So there are always 4 pub tokens in play. If a player ends his turn on the pirate flag, they get to take up one string of pirates that they've already placed on the map. So if they only have a string of 2 pirates, then they get to take those. Or if they have a string of 4 or 5 pirates, then they get to take all the pirates on that trail. Or from 2 dark alleys. Instead of placing pirates on the board in the alleys, players can choose to put their pirates on board the ship. They take the remaining pirates and they line them up. The next pirate who comes along does the same thing when they decide that they no longer care to place more pirates on board. Now, it is possible that a player can have expended all of his pirates and will not have any pirates on board the ship. In this part of the game, players are wrangling for bunks. Whoever lasts the longest will get the bunk worth the most points. Player who lasts the second longest, next points, and player who goes out third from last will get the least amount of points. And there could be 5 groups of pirates wrangling for bunks. In this case, we're only showing 3. Combat takes place in what are called wrangles. Each wrangle has to do with moving from one side of the mast to the other. Now, for the first wrangle, these 2 pirates get to go over for free for the first 2 because they're not opposed by any other pirates. These 2 pirates will now have to fight to get over to the other side of the mast. The players who are highest up the mast have to roll first. They roll to see what their result is. The next player would then roll, and they have to meet or exceed that number in order to go on. So in this case, the first pirate rolled a 5, second pirate rolled a 6. So that pirate goes over, this one is removed from the boat. Now, this means that the pirates farther down the back, the ones who came to the boat last, have an advantage because they only have to meet that number that the previous player rolled. So in this case, we have 3 pirates rolling. Blue rolls first, gets a 1. So he's automatically not going to be able to go to the other side because the other guys only have to match. This next pirate rolls a 1. So he also is not going to make it to the other side. So gold goes over without even really having to roll. In this case, the blue guy gets to go over for free. This blue rolls a 3, rolls a 1, so he's not going to go over. And then gold rolls a 1. So, blue wins. He gets the top spot. Now, pink went out first, so he's going to get the 1. Gold went out second, so he'll get the 3. And blue went out last, well, stayed in, so he gets 7 points.
After the battle for the bunks, then the players take all their pirates from the board and the ship back into their possessions so that they can start another round.
This happens 5 times. After the 5th time, the game is over. And then people count up their honor points to see who wins the game. So that's Rum Pirates. I'm going to keep this game. Throw him overboard!
Bad words!
Now that
Bad
he's gone.
words.
Rum Pirates is a great game because it plays fast and it works well with its theme. It has well-defined options with interesting decisions that continue throughout the game. And there are benefits to spending the resources to either get what you want at that instant or to keep them for later use. And most important to me, this game has piratey goodness that is good for friends, family, gamers alike. So tune in next time for Board Games with Scott. I give this game an R. Channel my inner pirate. Arr. I see. What doesn't bother me so much that we're doing this, but it's that you've got all the cut footage to mock me after it's
For
over.
years.
Yeah, I can see that. Oh, we're not doing a new Board Games with Scott this week, but I'm throwing up more footage of Don making out of himself. A light strategy game by Stephen Fields. It's for 2 to 5 players.
Except that's not his name.
Stephen Fields. Stephen Field.
Isn't this fun?
No. I'm not having fun anymore. Now, you know, this, I can see why other people. Let's see you put that in the credits. All right.